The Senate has resolved to mandate a committee on interior to expand the scope of investigation into the activity of Nigerian Immigration Service. This, however, follows a point of order raised by Senator George Sekibo, who cited Order 42 and 52, seeking Senate to bring an urgent motion to expand investigation into the activity of Nigerian Immigration Service.
Concern on the need to do a thorough job of the resolution of the Senate and have a complete picture of all activities of the Nigerian Immigration Service and the role of the Federal Ministry of Interior as supervising ministry of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Mandate the Senate Committee on Interior to expand the scope of the investigation to include all consulting services of Nigerian Immigration concessions and public-private partnership being undertaken by several private companies which have taken away the core mandate of the Nigerian Immigration Service and report to the Senate within 4 weeks.
The President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, ruling on this resolution, noted that the investigation will include all consultancy, concession, and private-public partnership which has infringed into the core mandate of Nigerian Immigration Service.
Of the investigation to include all consultancy services of the Nigerian Immigration Service, concessions and public-private partnership being undertaken by several private companies which have taken away the core mandate of the Nigerian Immigration Service and report to the Senate within 4 weeks. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Saraki, however, asked the committee to look into the issue and report back in 4 weeks. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Nigeria, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. The Nigerian Senate Committee on Environment has been mandated to investigate the Ogoni cleanup program for further legislative intervention. This was part of resolution approved by the Senate following a motion on the World Environment Day sponsored by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who raised the concern over the cleanup exercise. Senator Tinubu, while moving the motion, noted that there is a need to be proactive in addressing Nigerian environmental issues which have a widespread effect on the economic, health, and social well-being of the people.
Worried that in spite of the recent launch of the Ogoni cleanup campaign, it does not appear that work has commenced. The Senate reiterates that the environment is being held in trust for our unborn generations and thus must be kept in pristine condition. Also worried about the absence of clear framework and institutional actions to counter climate change and its effect. The Senate is further worried that implementation of the Paris Agreement COP21 and COP22 in light of the recently announced withdrawal of the United States of America. The Senate is certain that if our environment flourishes, we will thrive in all facets of our lives.
The Senate, on its part, resolved to call on governments at all levels to create a visible framework for realization of the protection of the environment under the Sustainable Development Goal and urge the Ministry of Environment to create awareness on environmental issues with a view to safeguard the health and well-being of the citizenry.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, as we speak, if you go to the Niger Delta where I come from, a lot of areas that used to provide fresh fish that we could get, today if you eat anything from those particular ponds and rivers and all that, you're likely to be eating poison, you're likely to be eating gas and cancerous elements. If you look at the forests and the rivers that used to exist in our youth, a lot of those places today, there is no longer water there. Whether we like it or not, the environment is changing.
The Senate also expressed worries over the implementation of the Paris Agreement in the light of the recent announced withdrawal of the United States of America, which has drawn criticism from the leaders across the world. The Senate President Bukola Saraki, in his remark, charged Nigeria on the need to take up a leading position in combating climate change across Africa.
Still continue to need to play a role. I believe that Nigeria needs to take over the environmental leadership in Africa. We're still behind, and we can do this through legislative means. There are still a lot of bills that are very important that we must pass in order to show our commitment and seriousness to the environmental challenges that we have. And I hope that we'll be able to do this as our own support and our own commitment in supporting and defending the environment. Thank you.
The Ministry of Environment and other relevant agencies were mandated by the lawmaker to create a sustainable framework to counter climate change and its effects. From Abuja, Nigeria, Muiwa Bamdele reporting.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
The Senate in Nigeria has condemned in a strong term the inefficiency of GSM network operators in the country, resulting in poor service delivery. This is sequel to a motion on the increasing rate of drop calls and other unwholesome practices by the telecommunication network operators in Nigeria that have robbed Nigerians of their hard-earned resources. Senator Andy Uba, representing Anambra South, who moved the motion, expressed worries that all GSM operators in Nigeria has recently been experiencing terrible congestion on their network, thus hampering the ability of subscribers to make or receive call successfully. The lawmaker also noted that operators in telecoms industry have not invested substantially in their networks to improve the quality of service rendered, describing it as a clear case of investment not keeping the pace with contemporary needs.
The Senate is concerned that though service providers have continued to expand their network coverage beyond what their existing infrastructure could carry, no adequate provision has been made to improve service delivery. A recent investigation shows that the four major operators, namely MTN, Airtel, Etisalat, and Globacom, have not provided the rate of drop calls on their network, and they appear not to see the reason to compensate their customers for disconnected calls or address their frustration. The Senate is disturbed that operators in the telecommunication industry have not invested substantially on their network to improve the quality of service rendered, a clear case of investment not keeping pace with contemporary needs.
In his contribution, Senator Shehu Sani from Kaduna Central said Nigerian Communication Commission has compromised and failed in its duty to bring GSM provider proper regulation.
Calls to excessive charges, unsolicited text messages and calls has become the identity of GSM providers in Nigeria today. Now, GSM has become part of our lives, but it has also become a problem to our life. Nigeria runs one of the most expensive telecommunication systems in the whole of Africa. Nigerian Communication Commission has compromised. The Senate, in its own wisdom, should act decisively to save Nigerians from the plunder, the exploitation, the thievery that has become GSM services in Nigeria today.
The Senate, after deliberation on the motion, urged the NCC to invoke the appropriate provision of the law and other extant agreement to protect consumers where necessary and to refund them henceforth for disrupted costs caused by the network issues. Also, the Senate directed the Nigerian Telecommunication Commission and other relevant agencies to carry out effective supervision of telecom service. The Senate Committee on Communication and Trade and Investment have been asked to look further into the issue. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
There's no way the government can come into our community if there's no local government authority. The only thing that can bring peace in our environment is local government autonomy.
Federal government have been urged to fashion out ways to ensure the realization of local government autonomy so that those at the grassroots can benefit from their programs and policies. This was dominant issue at the Democracy Day lecture organized by the National Youth Council of Nigeria with the theme Local Government Autonomy, Prospect for the Youth and the Nation. Speakers at the event insisted that local government autonomy is the only way people in the grassroots would benefit from the government.
I want to tell us something, and I want you to take it serious, that the current security challenges we have in the country is largely due to the fact that the economic resources of the country or the economic resources of the state are not distributed, that they are concentrated in the state capitals. Therefore, at remote local government areas, there are no economic activities.
I think I agree that the local government should be autonomous. It's very important. Otherwise, the whole idea of creating local government will be defeated if they don't have autonomy.
We call all our leaders to honor them and to encourage them, and also to encourage Nigerians about the right of local government autonomy and also our relationship with INEC. Yeah, this program, we are taking it all across the 774 local government. So this is the major program we are having all the 36 states.
It has taken long. No reason was given by revoking the particular clause in our constitution. Constitution permits it, and directly or indirectly, they would do it.
Youth were also advised to shun violence and other forms of corrupt practices as they have a role for purposeful leadership in the country.
If we don't do something now, I want to believe that we may not have a country called Nigeria in the next 10 years to come. Simply because of the attitude of what we call ourselves as citizens of this country. Abusing trust, mandate giving abused, responsibility giving not carried out, resources stolen, sometimes in a cowardice manner. You steal a money or money that cannot even be used by you and your grandchildren, and yet you call yourself a countryman.
So my advice to them should be that they should begin to grow up and begin to cease to be youths. They should begin to grow up such that they can step into those shoes that we old men are wearing today.
Youth form about 2/3 of our society. They have a great role to play in leadership. Their role in the present administration is to key in to the political agenda of Mr. President.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.